have here a phone running the update bits, and I'm going to go to the Office Hub. So you're almost certainly already familiar with the Office Hub, where you get access to all of your notes and our OneNote support. You get access to your documents and the ability to open documents and keep track of documents you've opened recently. And then the locations area, which is the part we're focusing on right here, where today the Office Hub lets Windows Phone users, this happens to me occasionally, the projection gets disconnected. Let me try this again. There we go. Where the Office Hub today lets people browse to documents on SharePoint servers within corporations. And what we're showing here is the Office Hub having default connectivity SkyDrive. So SkyDrive today, there's over 70 million people that are using SkyDrive. Free service, 25 gig of storage, and in particular, people have really started using it a lot more since we launched the Office 2010 free web companions. So if you're using those web companions on your PC to save documents on SkyDrive, now with this update, when you get your Windows Phone, you can go right to your SkyDrive without having to download an app, without having to sign in and have access to all those documents. So here I'll go into the My Documents directory, and you see simple, straightforward list of the Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, Excel spreadsheets that are up in your SkyDrive, and you can open these and edit those and so on using the built-in versions of Word and Excel, PowerPoint. And the other thing that's quite cool about this is with SkyDrive, users can share documents with each other. And in this case, I have a Project X files folder that was shared to me by Augusto Valdez. If I open that, you can see these are the files that he's made available to me. So collaboration becomes a lot more seamless between the PC and the phone. And we're trying to knit those scenarios together in a really nice way. So that's the first demo, Office with SkyDrive integration. Next, I'm going to switch over and give you a look at IE9. IE9 on the phone, there are a couple things that are really important about IE9. IE9 aims to really increase by a lot the standard support in the IE web browser. So IE9 on the desktop has very good support for HTML5, great CSS support. That includes SVG, Canvas. It scores really well in all these standards benchmarks, and that's worth you going and taking a look at on your own. And then in addition to those, it does it in a unique way by taking advantage of the graphics hardware on the PC, and as you'll see in a minute, on the phone as well. So when we render those HTML5 sites, we use the graphics hardware to give really smooth frame rates and a great experience. So what I'm going to do is switch over and show you IE9 running on a Windows Phone device here. So this is the Fish IE page. This website is part of the IE9 test drive. So if you've downloaded IE9 on your PC and you've looked at all these HTML5 sites, this is one of the examples. And the way this works actually is the core browsing engine software for IE9 that our team has been building for the PC, we've actually been building simultaneously for the PC and the phone. So the same code is running in both places. For consumers, that means you're going to get a very compatible experience. And for developers, it means that you don't have to separately worry about nuances in the way you author websites. When you author a website for the PC and test it on the PC, it's going to look great on the phone as well. Now what I want to do is give you an example of how this performance compares to some other mobile browsers. So this is IE9 with hardware acceleration on Windows Phone 7. And this is the same web page on an iPhone 4. This is the current iPhone 4 with Safari. And you can see here's 50 fish swimming smoothly. Everything's laid out nicely. And there the Safari browser, without hardware acceleration, can't produce the same smooth, high frame rate that Windows Phone 7 does with IE9 with hardware acceleration. And the reason this is meaningful is that as web authors take more and more advantage of the standards-based HTML5 to build very rich app-like sites, the IE9 browser will do a great job of rendering that in a way that's smooth, has good frame rates, and really feels like a rich app to those users. I'm going to give you one other example here and browse over to another site that we've had on the IE9 test drive. And this is a sample IMDb site. So again, this is HTML5, and I can browse between movies in our IMDb site here. And you can see it's really smooth and interactive. The frame rate is good. I can touch this little play button, and it'll go into kind of an automatic carousel. I can press pause, pan through these a little bit more. And then the other thing that's interesting about IE9 is it supports the standard well. And one part of the standard that's interesting is the video tag, which means web authors can put video on their sites without needing to rely on having a plugin installed. So in this example, if our connectivity is solid enough, I'll be able to touch here and play the trailer from this movie. So this is the video tag, and when I touch it, we're going to start streaming high-definition H.264 video from the website right onto the phone. You can see video plays really nicely. It looks very high quality. And of course, I have transport controls for doing things like skipping and pausing and so on. So the standard support in IE9 really fills out the experience for websites as well for things like video. Okay, so that's IE9. Next, I'm going to give you a quick look at our multitasking support. So today on Windows Phone 7, the operating system multitasks the first-party software that's part of the experience. And let me see. I think we might be using a USB cable that's a little too long here. There we go. Today on Windows Phone 7, the operating system multitasks the first-party code that we write. So browser web pages load in the background. Our first-party music experience plays in the background. But when the user runs a third-party app and navigates away from it, the approach that we take is to stop the app and hibernate it so that the app doesn't, in the background, consume the battery life. And there's this delicate balance you have in trying to architect the operating system with third-party code that you don't know anything about and whether it makes the battery run well or not. In this update release, we're going to enable third-party multitasking, but in a way that tries to optimize for keeping the user's battery life. And I want to show you some of the ways that the multitasking makes the user experience better. So I'm going to run this app. This is called Rise of Glory. It's a World War I flying ace game, 3D game that uses the accelerometer. So I'm going to start this up, and here I am flying the Red Baron's plane. You know, you can see I can bank around, and people are going to be shooting at me, and it's hard for me to actually play this while I'm explaining. But imagine that, you know, here I am playing this game, and I decide I need to make a phone call or do something else on my phone. I press the start button. The game is, obviously, I navigate away from the game. Now I'm going to navigate around my phone and do something else, and I'm going to push the back button to go back to the game. Today on Windows Phone 7, what we do is we hibernate that game, so it's effectively shut down from the perspective of the system, and when we go press the back button, we're going to ask it to wake back up, and we're going to start it back up. Depending on the app, typically that takes 3 or 4 seconds. In the case of some large games, it might take 10 seconds. With the multitasking support, we have fast app resume. So watch here, I'm going to press the back button. Here we go, back, and voila, I'm right back in the game. And the game politely puts me at a pause screen so I can press the continue button and get on with my flying. It really is pretty much instantaneous. So here I am, I'm going to do it again to show you. Here I am flying my plane, trying to avoid getting shot down. I'll press the start button. I've navigated away. I'm going to do something else. And then I'm going to press the back button. Watch how fast the game is there. Here we go. Back, and boom, the game is ready. I'll press the continue button, and I'm flying again. So that's the first benefit, is enabling people to instantly switch between these third-party apps without waiting even a few seconds. The next thing that we've done, because we now have that, we think in some cases users are going to switch between apps a lot more than they would in other circumstances. So we added a new visual UI for task switching. So I'm going to press and hold the back button, just in the nick of time. And you can see here that we set up this phone to have a number of apps in the background. There's Groupon, here's another game, Fruit Ninja, here's my email. So if I want to go back and play Fruit Ninja, I'll go back here, and it's on the pause menu. You see it instantaneously comes back, and now I'm killing fruit. So here we go, you know, I'll hack and slash a couple more. I'll press and hold the back button, boom. We go back into our task switching view, and I'll switch back here to Rise of Glory. And press continue, and I'm probably going to get shot down. No, I've managed to avoid that. So you get the sense for how much and how easily people can switch between these things. So that's fast app resume and new task switching. The next scenario that I want to show is probably the most common thing that people have asked for in Windows Phone 7 in terms of the way we handle third-party apps, and that is being able to play audio in the background from music services. So here I have Slacker, which is a free radio station. I'll choose Slacker, and I'm going to start up the default radio station. Once this app starts, here we go. The Today's Hits radio station, and that's going to start playing. And I'm in the app experience, and music is playing here. But what I can do that's new with this update is navigate away from the app, and music keeps playing. So I'm going to press and hold. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. I pressed the start button. No, I don't want to do speech. Thank you. Go. I'm back in the app. I'm going to press and hold the back button to navigate away. There you go. You can see I can switch between apps. I'll go to my email, for example. I can browse around my email, look at my unread mail, do lots of stuff, and music continues to play. I can press and hold the back button to navigate to another app. I can press start. I can press back to go back to the app I just left, which was Slacker. I can press start, navigate around, launch other apps. And the other thing that's useful is keeping the volume control connected to that third-party app while it does music in the background. So I could go here and skip tracks, or I can pause and stop music and so on. So that gives